Okay, so I wanted to make a follow-up video in regards to my Rev2 versus Prophet 10 video. I think I should have been a little bit more transparent. Part of what I was showing off was a sound library that can be ported easily from Prophet 10 to a Rev2. Calling the sound library Twin Prophets. And there is a certain area, a certain bandwidth where you can mimic those sounds. In fact, you can do it on any synthesizer. It's part of what my upcoming sound tutorial series is going to be about. You know, sound shaping fundamentals. A saw wave is the same pattern on a Prophet 10 as it is on a Phantom, as it is on an iPhone ringtone. It's a saw wave. It's just different levels of attenuation, different ways it's filtered and altered. But it's the same thing, same pattern. So I think there was some big misunderstandings regarding this video. It wasn't meant to show how limited the 10 is and how great the Rev2 is, or vice versa. It's to show the area of synthesis where these two really can overlap. But that doesn't mean that we're limited at overlapping. No. So I really am grateful to my subscribers and just viewers who leave good feedback and good comments. It helps me make better content, and I'm listening to you. A great comment from Station to Station. Shout out to you. I'd like to hear multiple oscillators going with 75% open filter, longer ADSR, which allows for harmonic intermingling, as well as polymod set to modulate the pulse wave on both, rather than pecking back and forth. Almost every one of my synths has an identical sound sawtooth wave. Yeah, he just said it. 100% correct. It takes some movement to get the differences to come out. Thanks for taking the time. No, thank you, Station to Station, because you're picking up on the whole point of that video. Is it was kind of a magic trick. Not really, but it's what I was doing was sort of deceptive. I was making them sound similar. Okay, so now I'm going to do the opposite. This one's kind of for you, synth punk. I know you've been on the fence about a Prophet 10, and I don't want to sway you either way. I don't want to sway anybody's decision about what synth. You know, it's so subjective. I wish you could just play them all, really, because YouTube, we can only do so much to show you what these things sound like and feel like. And there's so many great choices out there. You really can't go wrong with too many synthesizers these days. But in any event, like for you, synth punk, don't let that last video ruin any hopes you might have had for the Prophet 5, because it's a phenomenal keyboard if you want the sound of a Prophet 5 or 10. But if you're looking for something new, like the Arturia Polybrute, I understand that 100%. I'm going to play the exact same sound on both synths. Now, exact same insofar as they're the same oscillator frequencies, the same pitches, and the most comparable envelope settings that I could mirror on both. You're going to hear a difference. Okay, so you can hear the difference, what's going on harmonically in the background as the filter movement happens. You have voltage controlled oscillators here, and you have digitally controlled oscillators here. Big difference between the two. They don't sound the same. That's why they're still making voltage controlled oscillators. So that's what that sounds like on the Rev2. Same shape idea, but on the Prophet 10 it sounds like this. This video is more or less to clear up any confusion that may have come out of my last comparison video. Because part of that was me showing my ability to make them sound similar. That doesn't mean they inherently sound similar, because they actually don't at all. Starting with just even the very core oscillators. As soon as you add a second oscillator in to both of these, that's when the differences start. Like if I start from scratch, go to a single saw wave, same thing here. Okay? Now I have this turned down. It sounds similar, right? But now I add in second saw here, and add a second saw here. On here, listen, there's phasing going on. There's life, there's movement inside of the saw waves, there's a little bit of fluctuation. Listen here. Very rigid. There's one consistent movement. There's no fluctuation. That's the difference between VCO and DCO. VCO, DCO. They're both great. They both have their different uses. It's you know, there's different reasons. There's reasons to have both. You got to ask yourself this, to all of you who are on the fence and are kind of tortured and are wrestling. Do I get it? Do I? They're not going anywhere. They're going to be making these for a while, so you got plenty of time. You don't have to make up your mind now. You got to ask yourself, do you want the sound of a Prophet 5? Yes? No? If you do, bingo. If you don't necessarily care about having the sound of a Prophet 5, you should be looking elsewhere. This next part of the video is for Stephen Banbury. He's curious about the CEM versus the SSM filters. You have your choice between your Rev1 and /2 filters, which is the SSM, or your Rev3 filter, which is the Curtis, CEM. And it's great having both. Which one do I favor? Well, right now, I'm leaning towards the SSM. But some days I'm in a CEM mood, and it's nice to be able to take a walk through the park here with a nice Curtis filter on here. Okay, Mr. Banbury. So we're going to take a sound that is set to about half here and roughly 50% cut off, yada yada. Let's get a little squelch. That's set to, vintage is set to 3 right here. Now I'll switch to the Rev1 filter. That's the Curtis. Let's hear it with the SSM. I don't know if the differences in these filters translate into the algorithms of YouTube's compression state. I know that everything kind of gets compressed visually and the audio as well. I noticed that when I listen to things I've recorded in here in YouTube, I hear them on YouTube, it loses some of the oomph factor, but in person, you can really hear the difference. Let's hear the difference with a long envelope setting. And again, I'm going to go for the long decay, short sustain. I'm going to give that eow thing going on. Now let's hear that sound with the Curtis filter. Resonance down. Ugh. Gives me those John Carpenter chills. I think I have to go with the Rev1 filter. There's just something about it. And that's what's great about the Rev4 is you have both.